use the arrays class and its static methods. Then the next addition was in Java 1.4. In 1.4, identity hash map, linked hash map, and linked hash set has been added. Identity hash map has been added where the implementation is different from hash map in a manner like hash map talks about when you ask for any key that this key is present in a hash map or not. It gives a call to the equals method on that key object. So if you have overridden the equals method properly, so you can identify that though there are two distinct objects, one which is stored as a key in a hash map and one which you are passing to get it as to get the value, though it's a two distinct object, but these two objects are equal. Based on the equals comparison, it will give you. It doesn't happen the same way in identity hash map. Identity hash map just checks on the reference equality in place of the object equality when comparing the key. Then why do we have this kind of a hash map in framework? So these kind of a hash map mainly use when you are like working with the objects, and you might have multiple objects with the same content, but though like each objects are different. These are we can talk about like when I am passing an XML document where two XML tags contain the same value, but still like I want to process or I want to put both the objects in a hash map as a key, and I want to process it one by one. So in that case I can talk about or I can work with the identity hash map where I can put both the objects as a key, where like objects has a different references, so I can put it over there. I cannot put both the objects having the same content if I have overridden equals method and then it is a normal hash map, because it doesn't allow you to put duplicate keys in a hash map. When we were talking about any collection which has a word hash is what it gets stored internally in a hashing algorithm, like it has certain buckets where it will put the elements, and those buckets are identified based on certain hash value. So again, hash value, who will provide a hash value to collection? None other than the object itself. So we have a hash code method given by the java.lang.object class and available in each and every object. So collection just gives a call to hash code method on each and every object, which gives a hash code, and based on that the bucket is allocated to that specific object. That's why when you are putting the objects in a set or any other way we can say hash set or hash map, we never know that where that object is going to be stored, and when it is getting iterated, it just gets iterated. Like after each, it just goes to one bucket, gets the all objects is stored in that bucket, and then puts that in an iteration kind of a thing. So in case of a hash set or hash map, we never get, or we cannot guarantee that we'll get the elements in the insertion order when we are iterating it. But if that is what your requirement, that I want to get the objects in the way like I have inserted it, then we can talk about linked hash map for the key. It just put the keys in insertion or entry of key and value in the insertion manner. It will give you when you will iterate through the iterator, and the same with the linked hash set. It will give you the element in the same order in which you have inserted. When we are talking about linked hash map and hash set, and when it is preserving your order in which you have inserted, obviously it is adding the performance overhead as well. So in which scenario you will go for using it? Let's say if one method is getting a parameter of a hash map and with certain value, 3-4 different value, and that method's job is what, like work on these 4 different value and update it and then send it back to the client with the different results of those 4 different values. Or we can say like a 4 task has been given in a hash map, and then you are supposed to return a result of these 4 tasks. So in this scenario, when user of that specific method is sending us task in form of a hash map for execution, then obviously that user who have called a method will like to see the outcome also in the similar order. And in this scenario, we can go and work with a linked hash map so that we can return in the specific order in which we are inserting. Java 5 has given a drastic change to